I graduated from the University of Virginia, went into, of all things, VDOT research, and ended up at Verizon as a design engineer. Later moved to supervisor of the electronics team, mainly focusing on higher bandwidth services, ISDN, ES1s, and such. We'll see some of this information in this slide. And in my current position, I have a region of turf that stretches from Louisa, Virginia. I'm not sure if anybody knows where Louisa is. All the way up to Earthquake. So I have a pretty broad turf, very busy area. Heather and I were talking about Loudoun County. So, you know, anybody live in Loudoun County? Which area is it?
South Broad.
Okay.
Chantilly.
Okay. Yeah, Loudoun is a very fast-growing county. It's tough on utilities to keep up with the growth. But what I wanted to do tonight is kind of take you through my career and how technology has impacted and technological improvements have impacted the network of Verizon. I had to take off a lot of proprietary information off the slides. We have a lot of proprietary vendors and designs. So the slides that I'm sharing is very, they're very basic. But I'll try to share as much information I can. If you have any questions, I'll definitely share what I can about that. So just wanted to say teachers, science teachers, math teachers, I had two in my life, in my career, and growing up in my school career that had a huge impact. So thank you for what you do. You really do have a great impact on young lives. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. This is just Verizon. A very large company. You can see that we have 160,000 employees, almost 161,000 employees. We've really migrated from more of a POTS. Any English teachers in the time in the room here? English? We have a lot of acronyms at Verizon, so I'll use acronyms and I'll try to back up and correct myself when I use them. I'll try to reflect that in the slides. But we are a very large company, and we have migrated from just a plain old telephone service about 20 years ago to what we are today, which is a broadband company, broadband cellular company. So just a couple items. We are LTE, covering about 98% of the population, and we are really focusing on the digital media and the digital network. So in outside plant engineering, we are, for this area, we're considered the ILEC, the incumbent local exchange carrier. We have certain obligations per the state corporation, the federal corporation tariffs. We are responsible for the last mile, so we are responsible to, if somebody orders service, we are responsible to bring facilities and a service to that particular location. Not all services are tariff, so but the standard tariffs, ISDNs, ES1s, plain telephone service, we will be providing that. We, as a team in engineering, we decide how to provide the services, how to build the network, whether it's a copper base. I brought lots of things that you can touch, and this is one of them. This is actually a copper cable, and I'll get into how we use copper cable, how we use copper cable, and what we can do now on fiber optics. But we'll decide how to provide services to addresses and customers using the copper medium or a fiber medium. And then we have various types of equipment at the remotes and in the field, so at the customer's location. Another item that Heather and I discussed were data centers. Has anybody ever seen a data center? Yeah, a few people have seen data centers. It's just a big building full of equipment, fiber network, backhaul that feeds these areas. Just a lot of services flow through those. We, as engineering, issue work order. Here's our first acronym at EWO, Engineering Work Order. We use a lot of CAD programs. I don't know if anybody teaches CAD. extremely helpful. Technical drawing tag in high schools, middle schools, has a huge impact as far as for your students to be able to migrate into the Verizon career here. So, and then we issue our jobs to our construction teams who will then build the network for that design. Anybody recognize those? I mean, this is actually, this is 20 years ago when I started engineering.
They work.
Verizon.
They do, they still work.
This is the service that we were engineering. Everybody wanted a plain old telephone. From a design criteria, most houses. Anybody want to share what type of services houses used to require back 20 years ago? Fax lines, telephone lines, data lines, the computer lines. So we were designing about three pairs per household. So we would have to take 3 of these copper pairs to every house that we tried to pass, which, if anybody knows anything about copper, it's expensive, it's conductive, it has a high resistance, so lightning eats this stuff up. So very, very expensive. We changed our designs. Here really quickly, I'll just kind of go through a few acronyms. The CO is the central office. That is a hub location where we start our design. Each of these, like Sterling may work out of this central office, and then we may have another central office, Ashburn or here. And in between the two central offices, we have an IOF network, which is an inter-office facilities network that ties those customers together. So a customer in Sterling can talk to this customer in Ashburn through this inter-office backbone. But this is where we started. 20 years ago, we started in a copper network, 2 copper pair per line from the central office to the individual premises, the customer's premise. So copper glut. We had to design a lot of copper. We were wasting a lot of copper. We were bringing copper, multiple copper pairs, and people weren't using all of them. So we had a lot of stranded copper. So that led to our next design, and we use the serving area interface. We call them SAIs. So a serving area interface, you have one single large copper to a point, and then smaller cables to the customers. It saved money. It's much more efficient to provide service to all these households. So a little later, as technology improved, we had something called digital loop carriers. And everybody has probably seen a big cabinet on the side of the road. They have big doors that swing open. Those are digital loop carriers. We would take a digital signal into through repeaters, app cases to strengthen the signal. Very small copper cable. Just to give you an idea, we could take 8 copper pairs and generate 96 copper pairs. So technology is already starting to make an impact. We're saving on a copper bill and we can much more efficiently provide POT service through these copper digital loop carrier systems to the SAIs too. If anybody else has any questions, just raise your hand and I'll try to answer.
Question, sorry.
Yes.
Does every house actually have to have a landline going to it? Is that required even if they don't plan on using a conventional telephone?
Per the tariff, if we are the carrier of last resort, COLRs, if we're the carrier of last resort, we are obligated to provide telephone service, POT service, telephone number to that residence. We can provide that. We can offer that over a wireless network. But if that's not acceptable, we do have to bill our legally obligated to bill service to that customer. Now, if there is another carrier, a Comcast, or another provider in the area, then that obligation is lifted. But still, here in this design, we're still dealing with copper-fed systems, copper in the network. We quickly migrated to a fiber backbone, a fiber digital loop carrier here. Just to give you an idea, this is a 1,200 pair cable. So that means we can feed about 1,200 customers off this copper cable. Our fiber has improved as well. Again, I recommend you guys come up and look at this. This is a fiber cable, but this is not a fiber cable. This is 12 fiber strands, about the size of your hair. So we can do more on 2 fiber strands than we can that entire copper cable. We'll get into some bandwidth limitations on exactly what we can do with 2 copper strands. But it will astound you. These digital carriers that we're using here probably 15 years ago, we could provide not only POT service but higher bandwidth services. About 2016 customers on 2 fibers. And again, that was 15 years ago. So we would tie that digital carrier into a certain area interface, and we would still extend copper to the customer's prim, and we could provide almost any service they wanted up to a certain level. All right, and anybody have FiOS? Okay, this is awesome. Does everybody enjoy their FiOS? Yes. Yes.
No.
And this is a typical fiber cable. So that's a 1200 pair copper cable. This is an 864 strand fiber cable. It has 6 tubes. They have individual fiber ribbons inside. And this gives you an idea on the FiOS network, what we can do. So central office, F1 fiber out to a splitter, passive splitter. We're just at this point, light refraction, light splitting, splitting the signal over multiple fibers. Out of an 864 fiber, we could generate about 28,000 customers. The thing is, not all 28,000 customers are working out of this one area, so of course we have to build multiple fibers to individual areas. And now we can not only provide POTS, plain old telephone service, but we can provide data and we transmit video over the same time. Yes.
Has Verizon patented the process with utilizing fiber optics? Because I haven't seen other companies utilize the same methods.
They are. Verizon is definitely on the leading edge of fiber optics, but other carriers are starting to use fiber optics in their networks. You know, there are different. We try different versions of fiber to the prim, fiber to the curb. A lot of other companies will also use fiber in their network, and then they extend the last mile or the last section on a coax or another medium. So they use it in their network, and they are. I think some are migrating to all fiber network as well. Yes?
Well, I mean, you're doing all this right here, but when it all has to be put into the ground, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So when you're going through, miles and whatever, you guys, are you impacted by the environmental civil engineering people that have to work with you? I mean, if you're going to tear something up, did you get environmental?
No.
Probably the right away.
I mean, yeah, right away,
And the
but still,
utilities
you
right
don't
away.
want to, you got to put it back the way it was.
You mean as far as the environmental impacts?
Yeah.
We do have to do environmental studies if we cross a park property, like a national park service or governmental
But
property.
nothing else?
A lot of times they'll require us, if we're going to cross their property, to do an environmental study. Normally that is not required. Somebody mentioned right away. We do place a lot of facilities in a VDOT right away or a private easement. We have a private easement on private property. Yes, sir.
So you replace a lot of the copper with fiber optics, right?
Well,
The new stuff.
a lot of times we don't replace, we just parallel. Because, people still have choices. There are still some areas that we build mainly copper. There's some areas we build both copper and fiber.
I'm just wondering if you're leaving the copper in the ground, are you guys getting it back?
There have been some mining projects in the recent past. If it's hard to dig up to the gentleman's point, if we direct bury a cable,
Right.
it's hard to get that cable out of the ground without disturbing and basically turning the ground. But if it's on the aerial pole line or if it's in an underground conduit system,
Okay.
that can be easily removed. So this is, yes, sir.
Well, what kind of environmental impact studies do you have to do with regards to cell towers? Really tall, 180-foot tall monopole cell towers where,
As far as visual aesthetics?
and this is wireless, obviously.
Yeah, and I,
Visual, potential property value impacts, watershed erosion issues, migratory bird impacts.
yeah, actually, I'm going to say, as the islet, we are tied, we do work hand in hand with Verizon Wireless, but they are in different divisions.
Okay.
So by the time the tower's there, we'll be able to cover that in our slides here. That's where the company is migrating to a wireless platform, but we have to still build to that wireless tower. So even though we're not building the tower or measuring the impacts of that tower, we are having to bring facilities to that tower.
Okay.
And we'll cover those later in the presentation. So here, again, this is where we are right now with plain old telephone service. We have a lot more that goes with it. This is Nielsen's law. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Jacob Nielsen, but he started this study. The internet was invented in the 80s, and it really took off in the early 90s. Nielsen's law basically stated that network connection speeds for high-end homeowners would increase 50% year over year. And the studies, he started his studies with the ISDN line, which is basically a dual 64 kilobit signal. But he shows here how this has tracked accurate over time. So this is where we are today. We provide POTS, plain old cell phone service, but we're really leaning toward being the broadband company. They need, most people need more than a dial-up modem. I'm not sure anyone right here has a dial-up modem, but that would be hard to live with nowadays. So this is Nielsen law, and we're trying to keep up as a corporation with this enormous growth in broadband design and this broadband growth. So data progression in the last 20 years. Again, when I came in, we were in Loudoun County was growing. Loudoun is the fastest growing county in America. It is the richest county in America. And we were trying to keep up, just with the DSO, just to stay on POTS lines. We were having issues. People were running multiple lines into the house for POTS data, fax, and other uses, multiple lines. And that migrated into ISDN. I came into the ISDN group designing this single copper pair. We were still providing this data service, which was basically two 64 kilobit services. They somebody could bring it to their house, and you're basically doubling your dial-up speed. Dial-up is like a bad word nowadays, but doubling that with ISDN, that took off. It was like wildfire. So we migrate from our plain old telephone service into ISDN requirements. It didn't take long for the ISDN requirements at 64 kilobit to migrate into a DS1 requirement, which is 1.544 dedicated. Unfortunately, I live in Orange County. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with Orange County. I don't have FiOS. We don't have FiOS in Orange County. We're not fortunate enough. So I would love to have a dedicated 1.544 even today. I have a product called DSL. That's serious. Okay, 1.544 at all times. But this DS1, 1.544, which is equivalent to 24 kilobit circuits, we can provision that with copper, big, massive, thick copper cable that a lot of times can give you chronic issues due to corrosion and lightning strikes and just bad connectivity that goes in different sizes. Or we can provide it on a fiber multiplexer. So you saw how we migrated from a copper design in the network for the POTS, and now we migrated from a copper design in the higher bandwidth platforms. So we went from a DS1 to a DS3, which is equivalent to, a DS3 is equivalent to 28 of these DS1s, so 672 DSOs. Now when I say a DSO is like a phone line. So this is kind of give you an idea how to put this in perspective of how quickly this data boom has exploded here. So we've gone just in a year or so, we've gone up to a requirement of needing the equivalent of 672 POTS lines at some of these businesses and households. Shortly after that, that's only fiber multiplexer. So here we see the migration. Quickly go to an OC3, equivalent to 3 of these DS3s for 2016 DSOs. I shared that we have a lot of digital loop carriers, pieces of equipment that can convert that light from light, just a laser pulse on and off pulses, to phone line, 2016. So that was our medium and that was our backbone speed, fiber multiplexer only. And when I say multiplexer, it's just a product that takes light and it breaks it down into a various number of services, whether it's copper service, telephone service, or higher speed service. So we have these multiplexers, and these multiplexers just give you an idea. Data centers. So we talked about data centers a little bit earlier. They're building the size of a football field, and there's nothing inside. I don't know if you ever who's driven by a data center and looked for a window.
There are no windows.
More than like 10 cars in a parking lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just huge building, no people inside, just all this equipment. And this equipment footprint has shrunk dramatically over the last 10 years. What we could do in a rack, this tall, this wide, it would take 2 racks to provide some of these DS3 services and DS1 services on an OC3 platform. We can now do in a single shelf. So improvement in technology has greatly reduced the footprint, not only saving space, but power. So we see benefits on both sides. So here, OC3, we used to standardize on OC12 on our multiplexer designs. Who would ever need any more than 8,000 DSOs worth of bandwidth? We didn't think anybody would ever outgrow that type of bandwidth, but we quickly standardized on the OC48. As time progresses, as bandwidth needs grow, we continue to increase and raise the bar on what our equipment can produce. So here we are at OC48, producing the equivalent of 32,256 DSOs worth of service. A big pipe. And again, we're doing this on 2 fibers. So now we've migrated into an OC192, 10 gigabits of service, equivalent to 129,000 DSOs worth of bandwidth. Yes, sir.
Is there like a theoretical maximum on 2 bands? I mean, like, could somebody play that out?
On 2 fibers?
Yeah.
We'll get to some of those designs here very shortly. Probably not. But when you take a look at, and let me pass around some of these. I just ask that you not like push on the tip because it is glass. It's 12 fibers, and yes, it's a glass. It's a fiber optic cable. And just kind of pass it from table to table. These are fiber optics. You can twist them. They do have loss characteristics and properties. And again, just if you could pass them around.
Actually had one time when I moved into an apartment, the FiOS cable got cut and a guy came in and actually spliced them back together. It was crazy. It's like, doop, they're done.
It's called fusion splicing, and I have another fiber cable up here. This is considered ribbon fiber. 12 fibers, basically manufactured and glued together in a ribbon. We used to start with loose tube, which means you had individual single fibers. We can, they can mass fusion splice a ribbon fiber very quickly and very efficiently. There's very little loss. Of course, these are fiber jumpers, and they have different connectors on the ends if you want to look at different connectors. You wouldn't have a problem with a bend or an arch in a fiber, but the more you tighten that bend, that arc radius, the more resistance you're going to have in the cable. So to answer your question, as technology improves, you'll continue to see more and more on the fiber optic network. The problem is, the more you get on those two fibers, it still is a fiber optic fiber. If you lose two fiber strands, you've lost a lot of service. So it's security for the network is where we try to I guess they try not to do too much. Yes, sir.
There's like a sticky residue on it. That's my favorite.
I tried to clean those off before we left the office. It's a gel, and it's a gel that prevents water from infiltrating into the sheet and freezing.
It doesn't actually hold those strings.
No. Those strings are actually pretty secure in that string. But they do pull those strands apart and splice individual strands. They're pretty small. See how they do it. They're very talented on the condition side. So, here at the OC 192, there are a migration of the equipment, the multiplexers. Again, these multiplexers break down the signal. We started out with asynchronous multiplexers. They're linear point-to-point. You had two multiplexers, and they had to be the same manufacturer. There's lots of different manufacturers of equipment. We have Teltran, I don't know if any of these are ring a bell, Teltrans, AgTrans, Fujitsu's, a lot of different manufacturer equipment. Here in this old design asynchronous world, you had to have a Lucid talking to a Lucid. You had that. It was all proprietary. We quickly migrated into a sonic format, which is synchronous optical network. It's an industry standard on how these things talk. The multiplexers work off of lasers, and it's just basically an on and off. So these things can fire a light on and off very quickly enough to differentiate, 2,000, 200,000 lines at a single time. So lights, the lasers are very precise, and now we have manufacturer interoperability, meaning they can, Fujitsu can talk to an AgTran, or Lucid can talk to a Sienna. They can all talk the same language. So now we can specialize certain pieces of products at the customer prem versus a data center versus in our central office, which is the hub for the ILM network. So multi-node design, we can now add more nodes. I'll show you a picture here very shortly on a unidirectional path switch ring, which means the equipment is smart enough to know when there's an issue and it'll switch paths without dropping any service. And then next generation circuits, things like Ethernet. So I'm not sure if anybody has ever seen some of these schools get a lot of Ethernet circuits, just because they are a very large backbone, a very large pipe. And then we're going to get to that gentleman's question. What are our limits? What can we put on a fiber? Well, now we not only have a single color light that's shot, turn on and off very quickly, to the tune of 192,000 customers on 2 fibers, but now we're using degrees and colored light. So it's amazing what we can do. The sonic UPSR architecture, these are just customers' locations or Verizon locations, but now we can add multiple boxes to fiber. So universal path switch means if this fiber was cut, this fiber right here was cut. Normally, in the old design, if fibers were cut in between 2 nodes, that node went down. But now, if this fiber is cut here, it automatically switches the direction of feed counterclockwise. And it's always picking the best path. And we know when one side is cut or another side is cut. So this not only helps us save fibers, helps us save nodes and equipment in central offices, but it also provides more protection to the customers who's paying for these services. And this sign architecture can be used for, anything from OC3 to OC192, and now this dense wave dimension multiplexing, which means we can break light into about 88 wavelengths of color right now at Verizon, some of the equipment that we're using. Each one of those wavelengths of color can be split into a host of services, whether it's an OC3, an OC192, or an Ethernet, or a single fiber. So now we have possibilities of doing, 88 OC192. So if you do the math, I believe it's 64 million customers on 2 fibers. So, of course, we have to protect the customer, so we try to limit what we have on each of these BWVM boxes, which stands for wave vision multiplexing. We do have these at data centers. Yeah. So now we're migrating into the cellular world. This is a cell phone. This cell phone was actually used when I first started at Verizon. Anytime we had an irate customer in Loudoun County, we would take them a phone until we could provide them telephone service, because to your point, Natasha, we were required to provide telephone service. This just shows, does somebody have a question? Okay. So then this kind of shows the advancement of the cellular network, just showing how, back in the 80s, it was a voice, we migrated into voice text, and then, we're getting into, 3G and 4G and on the verges of 5G, which is an improved network. And, with the evolution of the network, you have the evolution of the network.
Like, how small can you get in the network?
That was a big deal. BlackBerry was a big deal. So we saw an evolution on the cell phone side as well. And within the cell site design, we've seen a lot of improvement. To your point, they have aesthetically, people don't like to see a big tower in the middle of a farm area or a wooded area. I know a lot of times I've seen the balloons in the air just to show people how tall the cell tower is going to be, so they can see what type of impact it's going to have. We are trying, or they are trying, different models. This is actually a cell tower. Kind of blends in with the trees.
Well, most of them aren't that nice.
We saw one the other day that was like 30 feet taller than the trees that were around it. It was totally out of place.
Yeah, and I've seen the ones too.
Oh yeah, the one on Logan Drive here.
In LA, they have palm tree ones that are like the same size as the palm tree, so they really do blend in. So we saw like this conifer, but it was so much taller than everything else. I was like, that's not one.
Yeah, I was going to bring up just the palm tree tower.
The palm trees look good.
Nobody knows anything about palm tree over here. I should have brought just But I too have seen the carnivorous tree and the deciduous forest, and it just kind of sticks out. Other things that they're doing in municipalities, they're utilizing not free space, but space on water towers, so there's not an additional tower, and they're also using some farmland silos. They're actually putting the equipment under the hood of the silos, so it's just a way to hide the cell tower, but still providing the service that people are looking for. Now we are, as Verizon ILEC, the Verizon ILEC outside plant, we still have to build services to the cellular towers. You can't just put a cell tower up and then broadcast signal. We have to link these things back to our central offices, just as we did with that customer 20 years ago on a copper line. So we have, we provide some service on copper to the cell towers. Believe it or not, there's some cell towers with copper service, but the majority of them are transforming into a fiber network just because of the amount of bandwidth that people require on their cell phones. So it does require that physical connection all the way back to the central office. And another way we're trying to keep up with this bandwidth demand is we're building tighter polygons. So, where we may have, I always heard line of sight. If you had a tower in sight, you should be good. Not so much now. Anybody familiar with Central Park?
Down in Fredericksburg?
Fredericksburg?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fredericksburg, very dense commercial area. We recently trialed and turned up something called a small cell. So we took a line of sight and we just condensed it, shorter towers, more densely placed, and that way we can provide more bandwidth to each tower. Because when you're downloading that video of your phone, it's drawing bandwidth from the tower and it's drawing bandwidth from that physical connection, most likely on a fiber medium, back to the central office. So we are densifying the sites. And this is our credo at Verizon. We focus outward on the customer, not inward. We make it easy for the customers to do business with us by listening, anticipating, responding to our needs. And this is from our CEO, Noel McAdam. The accelerator in global economy is digital technology, which injects a disruptive force, exponential change into every aspect of business and society. Verizon is in the middle of this digital world as both the agent and the subject of change. And this is, we do deliver that the promise of the digital world. Thank you. That's our presentation. Again, encourage you to